Hello, we are on day 2 of dilations. Remember, dilations, the definition is simply to resize something, but there's sorry, three key points. Number one, we know it's a resizing. Number two, we're using a scale factor to do it. And number three, we're doing it from a dilation point. So we learned how to identify last time where the beginning dilation point is, and to figure out how to go from a pre-image to an image, as well as identify the rule if it's from the origin. Okay, and then we did the next page here where we checked our understanding and figured out, answered some of these questions. We were able to, sketch an image knowing that it started from the origin by a factor of 2. And then the assignment for that day, was to do the practice on the next 2 pages right here and right there. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take a moment just to look at a few questions just to see if we can identify whether or not they are enlargements or reductions. Okay, so the key thing here, if you're looking at your booklet, you probably don't see the colors that I'm looking at. But that's okay, because you remember that the prime symbols let us know what the image is, and the ones with no symbols are the pre-image or the starting point, right? So you can tell by looking at the first one. We start with we'll take a moment on your own to go through A through C and see if you think they are enlargements or reductions. Number one, and well, let's do that first, and then I'll talk about the specific amount scale factor. So take a moment to see if you think they're enlargements or reductions, and you can pause me if you want, and you can check with your neighbor to see what they say. Okay, welcome back. So yeah, again, you can see the B, the pre-image, is bigger than the other, so it was a reduction. Here, pre-image smaller than the ending one, the prime, so an enlargement. And here, smaller than the original, so a reduction. Okay, so there you go. I think just visually you can kind of see those a little bit easier. But now what we're going to do is we're going to dig a little bit deeper and try to figure out how much they or what the scale factor is. Okay, so the first thing is this one, determine the scale factor. All three, I should say this, it doesn't say it in the question. All three of these were dilated from the origin. Okay, so let's take the first one. I don't have my regular stylus today, so I'm going to try to draw with my mouse to see how that goes. Let me make it in red. Okay, if I'm looking at number one, what do I see? I see that I'm gonna check the difference between any point and its prime. So I look at A and it's kind of in the middle. I'm not too crazy about that, but I look at C and that looks pretty great because it's right on the line. I can just count it, and they're right at a point where I know it's exactly a certain value. So if I look at, remember, also it's the image over the pre-image, right? I'm going to see if I can write that. Image divided by pre-image is your scale factor, right? Now, again, I'm sorry, I don't have my stylus with me today, so it's not too neat. Let's see if I can make this smaller. Okay, again, I don't have my stylus, so I'm going to have to improvise today. Okay, so to figure it out, the image is going to be the one with the prime. So to get to one particular point, for in this case, pick C, 1, 2, 3. So it would be 3 divided by, let's see if my pen's working. It's not going to work for me today. Yeah. Okay, so to get from there to the image, it's 3. To get to C, it's going to be 5. So there we go. So it is a reduction, and the scale factor is 3/5. Basically, every point on ABC was multiplied by 3/5 to get that. And if you want, you can check another one. Look at B, for example. B goes up from the x-axis, 1, 2, 3. And so that would be the 3, right? Divided by what? Divided by the pre-image. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So every single point should be the same, especially if it's from the origin. Okay, take a moment to see if you can figure out the scale factors for B and C and put me on pause, check with your neighbor, see what you guys get, and then come back. Okay, so let's look at the first one here. Again, what we want to do is, I think it's a good practice to put I over P, meaning image over pre-image, just to keep it straight. And what do we get? Let's see. Let's take the first one here. Oops. Make this a little bit bigger. Let's see what we got over here. Maybe smaller. There we go. Okay, so we start with the pre-image, and you can pick any point. I like to pick points that are right on the intersection of two specific things. Like, for example, C's in between these two X values, whereas B is a definite Y value or a definite X value. So let's just pick B. We could pick A too, but I like B. So if we pick B, from the origin, it's 1 over and 2 up, and I can focus on one dimension. So I'm going to compare it to B prime. So this one now is 2 over and 4 up. So if we just focus on the vertical, it goes from 2 to 4. So that would be 4 over 2, and that means that the scale factor is 2. Okay, on this one over here, we start from the origin. We see how far away the image is, which is the prime, remember? So let's see, the first prime, let's just pick E. It's on a nice vertical point. We could pick A, but E from the origin goes up 2. So that is our image, right? 2 divided by, and then the pre-image, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It goes up 5. So the scale factor is 2 over 5. In decimal form, it could be 0.4. But anyway, so that's how you determine the scale factor. So that's the lesson for today. The next thing is we're going to look at the assignment for today. Let's see if I can get to that, if my computer allows me. And let's see if I can figure that's the problem. There we go. Okay. So you're going to have 3 problems today on the assignment, and we'll do the first 3 together. The first one is to write a rule to describe each translation. There's multiple choices, but what I would recommend is to try to go ahead and do it yourself first before you look at the choices, because I think the test is not going to be multiple choice. It's going to be, okay, again, I think it's really good. It's really helpful to go ahead and let me see if I can make this work. There we go. To keep a straight image over pre-image. Okay, so you can pick any point. I want to pick points that have image and pre-image both like on a place that crosses like that, right? So it's more precise. K doesn't do that. J ends up in between. I ends up in between. It looks like L's would be a good one. You can always guesstimate it and say that looks like it's about halfway through K prime. Well, let's use L. It looks pretty simple. So let's get the image first. The image is going to have the prime, right? So let's see. I'm going to pick L prime. So I'll go down 1, 2, 3 to get to L prime. And L image down 2. So pretty simple, 3 over 2. Okay, so there you go. So that's all there is to that. The next thing is to pick a choice now. Now that would be the correct answer if you did 3 over 2 and I was looking at your exam and that was your answer. But what about the choices? Well, you have to remember that this is fraction form. So if the answers are in decimal form, which some of them are, you could just take the numerator, 3, and divide it by 2 and you'd get 1.5. So the answer on this would be A. Okay, so the next kind of problem we've got is to graph the image of a figure. Now, again, here you're going to see multiple choices. I don't put them here, but on your assignment you will. I'll show them in a moment. But we want you to be able to know how to graph it yourself, which we did on the first lesson, and then, based upon that, look at the multiple choices for this assignment. But on the test, you're going to have to like draw it, and I'll look at it to make sure you did it correct. So give it a shot, see if you remember how to do it, and then I'll come back and show you the answer on how I got it. Okay, so here we are. The answer for this one, it's a dilation of 2, right? About the origin. So to get the primes, we can just multiply how far away each of the points are. Again, I don't have my stylus with me, so I'm hoping it's not too sloppy. So let's take L, for example. How far away is it from the origin? Well, it's 2 over and 2 up. Oops, a moment. So again, it's 2 over and 2 up. So to get L prime, since it's a scale factor of 2, I multiply it by 2. And so, oops, there we go. Let me get my pen again. Are you there? You're there. Good. So instead of going 2 over and 2 over, I'm going to go 4 over. Instead of going 2 up, I'm going to go 4 up. So there's L. Oops. It's going to let me do it. I'm going to go over here. So this is going to be my L prime. Okay, K is 1 over. So instead of being 1 over, it's now 2 over. There's no up or down. So that's my K prime. M is 1 down, or wait, 1 over and 2 down. So now it's going to be twice that, 2 over and 4 down, M prime. And then probably use a ruler and come, again, I'm doing it without a stylus. This is crazy. I'm doing the best I can. But if you do it right with the ruler and nice as straight as you can get it, these lines, all the sides that are proportional should be parallel, or not proportional, correspond, should be parallel. K prime, L prime to KL is parallel to this, just bigger, all the way around it. So that's your clue that you did it correctly. Okay, so that's what it would look like. Okay, the next problem we've got, question type we got, is going to be, oh, by the way, I guess I should find the correct answer, right? So if you look down for today's assignment, again, it should be pretty quick. You know, you can probably do process of elimination without even drawing this and get. Okay, again, if I'm doing a multiple choice test, I might pick 1 point at a time. First of all, I just generally look at seeing how it's bigger than that and about where the position is. And then I might pick 1 point, like K prime should be at x negative 2, y 0, right? So if I go over to the multiple choices, if I can get there, there we go. I'm going to look for something like that. A looks pretty good. This is way too small. This is maybe kind of the right size, but K is over too far and L is too far. This is kind of about the same. This is actually smaller. So again, like I said, this assignment you can probably do visually and just do by process of elimination, but I don't know if you're going to be able to practice the actual dilating it without the choices and making sure that you do it correctly. So please, just for the assignment, do some of them by hand, just to confirm that you know how to do that. And then of course you can confirm it with the answer choice. Okay, the third question type now is, what would the coordinates of the vertices be after each given transformation? Well, we just did a dilation, right? And we just figured out where all the points are going to be. So I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do this problem and show you the answers, but what I am going to do is I'm going to show you on the one I just did what the answer choice would be. Okay, one moment. Okay, so let's say I got a question about what would the vertices be after the dilation. I don't know why this is doing this. There we go. Well, I already know where they are, right? So what would L be? Again, come on, pen. There you are. Okay. So what would L prime be? It would be right here, right? What would that be? 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to be 4, comma, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 4, right? And then M prime, etc. would be what? Down, it's down over here. So I go 1, 2, 3. Wait, is it 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4? So that would be 2, negative 4. Okay, you get the idea. So I don't have to do number 3 for you, but basically that's all you do. And questions like number 3, that's what you would do. You would think about what the dilation would be. Okay, if it's 1.5, that might not seem like a pretty number, but you know, if I got K, it's 2 over, right? So, and 1 up. So what's 2 times 1.5? It's just 3. So I go 3 over. Instead of going 1 up, I go 1.5. So that might put me kind of in the middle, right? That's going to put me about right there. So I'm going to give you a clue on question number 3, that K prime should be 3 and 1.5. Are there any that have that? K? Well, there's only one that have it, so I guess I gave you the correct answer. Okay, anyway, that's how you do this assignment. And after you're done with inputting in the questions, they're multiple choice, so just enter them into Canvas to get credit for today, and you'll be done.